Oh, Mizzle in the house.
Jizzle in Hizzle.
So today we are discussing one of my favorite books. Actually, it was a strong book called The Last Lecture. I'm assuming everyone here has read it, but in this video, in this chat, we're going to discuss some important quotes, some important things we took out of it, and yeah, hopefully we'll all grow from this video and all learn some lessons from Professor Posh. I think that's how you say his name. Again, I'm TJ Jackson, and we have O'Mizzle with us, and
That's me.
that is him right there. And this is Beyond the Words. Beyond Words. I keep saying Beyond the Words, but it's Beyond Words, and we're here to just pretty much explain and describe what movies, books, all those good things, what we take away from them.
Yep.
Omar, we are going to discuss The Last Lecture. It's not a review channel. It's more of a discussion channel because there's so much to learn in life. What did you... Let me say this, because this was your first time reading it. I've read this before.
Yep, first time.
And English is not your first language. So how was it getting through this book, and was it difficult to grasp the message?
There's some words I didn't understand for sure, but I went up and, when it was hard ones, to look them up. That way, if they come back in the book, I can understand them.
Yeah.
But one thing I would say is that I actually preferred the second part of the book than the first one, because it just completely changed where he went on that student thing, about how he was teaching about giving lessons to his students and stuff, and what he learned from them too. So I actually like much better the second part.
Yeah. Well, I love the format of the book. I like how there's simple, quick things to grasp and hold. And again, I read my books on Kindle, so it's easy for me to highlight and save and always revisit the passage or a quote that really hits me. But I commend him. I commend him, and I loved what he did, and I thought it was not only inspirational for everything you can learn out of it, but I thought it was a cool way for someone who knows that their time on this planet is limited to give make a legacy and to make a mark, and not only for everyone out there, but for his family. And that was one of my favorite things at the end, is how he talks about the head fake, which is a very big sports term in terms of like faking someone out. That the whole reason what inspired him to do this was for his kids, and I thought that was a beautiful thing to do, to write this book. And it's a great little manual for what he felt was the best way to live life. So I do have a question for everyone who's watching, and something to put in the comments. How would you spend your time if you knew you only had a few days or months to live? What would you do? What would you try to accomplish? I personally loved his mentality, and I think, like I said, this book was very strong for me for various reasons, and that's one of them. If I ever found out or knew someone that had terminal cancer, I now know that this is a book to push to them, to maybe inspire them to live their last days with complete, with completeness, So I'm going to ask you that first, Omar. If you were to find out that you had 3 months to live, what would you do?
Okay, so before answering that, I have to say something.
Yeah.
I have to say, I've always thinking about this thing here, is that what would the world be like? Let's say like it was normal, that you actually knew when you were going to die. So like when you're born, you actually know the time of your death. Would people live their life the same way? Would they be the same with other people? What would they do differently? I think that will make a big change. Yeah, like if you did a complete movie around that would be incredible.
People would live completely different. I actually think our society would grow at a faster rate. We'd accomplish more. I think people would find what they truly want to do and love and do it. And I think that is the key to growth for people and culture and society. So I think we would be a little bit further along in life. But that's a pretty cool idea. Is there a movie? How'd you get that idea?
No, I was just thinking about it, like, because we actually, when I was reading the book, we don't know the time. Maybe you're gonna die tomorrow. You don't know.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, if people actually knew, like everybody knew, everybody was on the same level, which time they were gonna die.
Yeah.
You
It's
know,
interesting.
would it be different? Like, would people go through all those jobs they hate? Would maybe even arguments? You wouldn't even waste your time doing arguments with people or hating people. You
Yeah.
just let it go, and live on your life. So I think that was interesting. And to
Yeah.
answer your question, uh, pretty simple. I think I'll just do a to-do list, that things I would love to do and actually do them. As
Yeah.
simple as that.
Yeah.
So I return you the question.
Was that?
I return you the question.
I think for me, Omar, I would almost be doing what I'm doing. I'd probably try to spend a bit more time and travel more with my family.
Mhm.
I
Mhm.
know it's hard right now. We're still in the midst of the coronavirus pandemic,
Mhm.
but I would be doing music, sharing my music, and I'd probably be working on my book more,
Mhm.
because I believe, I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's just my age. I'm 41 now, but when I hit around 35, I was really starting to focus on legacy and what am I leaving behind, not only for my family but for the world.
Mhm.
So it would be, I think, and just focusing on that aspect. What am I leaving behind?
Mhm.
Um, but to dive back into, I want to read some of the comments too at some point. But to dive back into the book,
Mhm.
I want to revisit a couple of quotes from the first half, just because I thought they were very powerful. And
Yeah.
again, revisiting the story, Professor Randy Pausch is diagnosed with terminal cancer, and what I found, and from the tone of the book, is he's very upbeat about it, and as the quote said, through the whole ordeal, I don't think we ever said to each other, this isn't fair. We just kept going.
Mhm.
And to me, that says it all. You got a guy here who's not going to be, around for even a year. He was celebrating his wife's last birthday and his last birthday in the book, and that's a very, very, like, profound thing to be able to say and to have a great attitude. So it kind of puts any kind of daily struggles we go through in great perspective.
Mhm.
And then to couple that, he says complaining does not work as a strategy. We all have a finite time and energy. Any time we spend whining is unlikely to help us achieve our goals, and it won't make us happier. And I think that's a very simple, profound way to look at life. And I understand there's people who are going through all different types of things, and it's, for some may say, it's easier said than done for you. But that's why I love this book, because here's a man who's no longer with us. This book was published in 2008, I believe, and he didn't even make it to the new decade, let alone 2009. So I find it very, I find it very strong for anyone who is struggling in life to kind of remember what is really important. And to me, that's your family and your health, and just being grateful.
Yeah, and you know something that's funny, TJ, is that you can often see this in movies and maybe in real life. I don't know, I haven't been there, but when somebody is very ill or is going to die, the way people interact with that person is completely different. Like, they're going to be more kind. They're going to be more like, understand more the situation and stuff. And I was thinking maybe like if everybody always had that mindset to, to people, that would be different.
Mm, mm. I'm gonna revisit a couple of these quotes, because this was one I read yesterday. I finished the book yesterday, and this one was, I remember it hitting me right when I read it. Cancer has given me the time to have these vital conversations with Jay that wouldn't be possible if my fate were a heart attack or a car accident. Um, you know, the, Many of the quotes I took from this book are very, like, they're very, I don't want to say vague, but they can apply to all situations. This one was very specific and very personal, that even though it has nothing to do with my situation, it deserved a highlight and a save and an amazing annotation from me. Because here we again have a guy who has terminal cancer, yet grateful. He's grateful that he has an opportunity to
Mhm.
finalize how his life will be. Unlike those who are, who suffer from a heart attack or die in a car accident. And it's towards the end of the book, and again, it just he keeps hitting us, the reader, with these really important messages of you got to be grateful in life. And again, I read this book 10 years ago or so, and the second time reading, I'm picking up new things. Like this was a quote that I don't think I picked up on as severely as I am now.
Mhm.
And again, it's all about being grateful and just embracing your situation and making the best of it. You know?
You know, there's one thing in the book where and I maybe he said it in the beginning, but I don't remember. But at the end, he said that they didn't want to tell the children he was dying. You know, they only say when like he's actually really like ill, and you can actually see, like maybe he has just 1 month left. What you as a father would you actually wait to tell that you have something, or would you do it like immediately to prepare them? How would you handle that?
That's a great question, Omar. I would do probably the same thing he did until I started to show signs, or
Mhm.
that's when I would tell him, because I don't want my child to suffer any more than he would have to or she would have to. Um, And with that said, though, all my actions would reflect that, like how he took one child to Disney World, and he did a couple other things with the other
Mhm.
children. I would do a similar thing where I'd really try to make incredible memories. You know, he swam with dolphins with one child. I would do the same thing, and I'd want those memories to be mentally for the child to be in a place of just bliss, without stress, without worry,
Mhm.
without sadness. And to me, the only way you can really achieve that is if you withheld that information. So I would do a similar thing, and then when I got to the point where I needed to say something, I would do it. And like he did, I would make videos, write letters, save
Mhm.
things. You know, I think I love, again, back to that quote he had about it giving him time to say goodbye and leave his legacy behind. I thought that was brilliant, and I can only hope for anyone who knows someone who's has cancer or has a terminal illness,
Mhm.
that maybe you suggest this book or suggest those kind of things in a very respectful way. um, but and what's interesting, I think when you are diagnosed with something like cancer or something that's terminal, I think oftentimes our mind goes everywhere. So even though now we can say this is the right thing to do and it's kind of cool and obvious, when that time happens, you may be all scattered and all over the place, and um, you may be trying to binge watch your favorite show, which is fine. But when it's all said and done, I think preparing your family, your wife, your husband, your child, for life after you is the way to go.
Yeah, and I like the fact that while he was going through all of that, he was still thinking that he could be like the one in the million that could actually be cured from the cancer.
Yeah,
He still had a little bit of faith there,
yeah,
and
yeah,
that's what made him going. I
yeah.
really love.
Let's switch topics a bit. He's very big on, which is another thing I love about him. He's very big on failure and the
Hmm.
importance of failure. And earlier in the book, in the first half, we talked about how he was big on his kids doing whatever they wanted in his room. That's something I always took. They can color it. They could they could paint the walls. It was up to them. Um, I love about this professor is how he encouraged failure and he encouraged people taking risks. I think I'm gonna guess it's around the world, but at least in the American culture, American society, I think we don't do a good enough job preparing people for failure and prepare and informing people that failure is such an important part of success and being happy and achieving your dreams and goals. And again, that was another aspect of this book that I loved. You know, he even gave out an award for those who failed the most or failed the most miserably. And I think that's something that, I know I took away, but I'm hoping our, our followers and everyone, all the Izzles out there are have learned from this book, is that failures is part of it. It's part of the journey. It's part of what makes you grow.
You know what's funny is that just little quote there. I was thinking about video games. You know, you can't like actually achieve a video game in one, let's say a level. You can't actually do it in one spot. But the more you're gonna fail, the more you're gonna know how to do it and succeed it even quicker. So I was thinking as simple as that, and that's how you can succeed very quickly, by failing.
The person who failed often knows how to avoid future failures. The person who knows only success can be more oblivious to all the pitfalls. That says it all. Even he made a reference how for startup companies, sometimes they'll hire the person who failed versus the person who's successful, because A, they may not have learned as much, and B, there may be some ego that needs to be that isn't going to be welcomed at that place, at the startup company. One more thing on this that I loved is how he really embraces the importance of experience, of just doing things, of going out there. Experience is what you get when you didn't get what you wanted. He kind of rechanges failure. You know, when we don't get what we want, we often see it as a loss, a failure. Life's unfair, life stinks, all those terms that we often use. But we have to figure a way to change that to understanding it's an experience. And experience is a good thing. It's what makes us grow. It's what makes us understand things, quicker and at a deeper level. So I love his train of thought. I love his thinking. I'm happy he was a professor. I actually feel him being a professor is one of the reasons why I always wanted to teach and share what I've learned in life with people, because that is something I've always wanted to do and thought of doing and still kind of play with at some point in my life. And I think it's a very powerful thing for kids to have someone like him teaching them.
Yeah.
We have a guest. Should we bring her in?
April.
Yes. You ready to bring her in?
Let's go.
Let's do it. April.
Hello, April.
Hi.
How are you?
Hi, how are you? I'm doing good. How about you?
We are all doing well.
Okay.
So I'm going to ask you, you read the book?
Yes, I did. I just finished it yesterday, actually.
Cool. Did you enjoy it?
Okay. Oh, yes. I loved everything about this book, because to me, it really makes you look at how you're spending your time. Is it worth, little things that's not even worth, like, for instance, you worrying about, job situations, things that might be happening on your job, or, for me, I'm going to speak for myself, because I have a lot of things that happen on my job, and I worry a lot about, coworkers, situations with them. And I said, well, you know what? My life is too precious to worry about, those things. I need to look at my time and say, you know what? I got to spend my time more, look at it as a more precious thing, because you never know how long you're going to have on this earth. And so if you look at life that way, take each day as, this is going to be my last day. And if you look at life that way, then you'll say, this is not worth it. That's how I look at it. And I just love the fact that he never complained about the fact that he had pancreatic cancer. He never complained. He could have sat around and said, well, I'm going to die. And, oh, God, what can I do to, help myself to, to get a cure or something? But he never did that. He just tried to spend time with his kids, his wife. He worked on, of course, the lecture. And I just loved, his attitude basically about his fate.
Yeah.
And that's the main thing to me that spoke with me about this book.
Yeah, I love it. And I assume you had not read it before, right, April?
I haven't. I haven't.
Have
And
you
I
heard it?
actually watched the. I haven't, honestly. This
Okay.
was the first time, But I actually watched the lecture yesterday on YouTube that he done, and I really enjoyed it
Oh, good, good.
because,
And the lecture will be in the show notes. So if you want to click over and it'll be up above, we'll put that as a card as well. But
okay.
I actually haven't seen the lecture, so I actually need to
Oh, you
watch the
haven't?
lecture.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Do you think it's
Yeah, it
appropriate for
is.
kids to watch as well? Is it something they should
Yes, it
watch?
is.
Okay. Okay.
It
I'm
is.
gonna do that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do that.
Yeah, my son actually watched it with me, my youngest son, so he watched part of it with me.
Great. Oh, Mizzle, you have a question for April?
Yeah, let's know what April. We asked the question at the beginning. It was like, how would you spend your time if you knew you only had a few days left to live or months? What would you do?
Well, the main thing I would do is try to spend as much time as possible with my family, my boys, and of course, my mom, dad, because I feel like that's the most important thing is to make memories with them. And, they'll have something to remember you by. And also, I would like to work on my to-do list because I do have a lot of things that I still would like to do as far as, as traveling is one of them. And also, I would like to do zip lining, things like that. And also volunteering, just, a lot of things I do have on the list, which I hope and pray that I'll be able to do those. But that's the main thing that I would like to do. And I wish, and I'm hoping, God forbid, that, anything happens like that. But if I were in Randy's place, I would wish that, I would have that time to be able to plan out, if this happens to me, I can make videos and I can sit down and write letters for my kids to remember me by. I just, hope that, I could be in that situation instead of something happening like you having a heart attack or having a stroke where you don't have time to do any of that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, for me, that's what I would do if I had,
I've actually I've actually thought about that, just doing videos, every like 5 years or so,
yeah,
in case something were to happen to me. I've just never done it because also another thing is part of me is a mental guy where I feel like if I put a lot of energy into that, I'm going to create something bad to happen to me. So it's always been like that catch-22 thing, But
yeah.
I think I'm going to at some point soon do something like that because I just think it's a powerful thing, and my heart breaks for his kids and his wife.
I know.
I haven't
Yeah.
seen what they're up to now. It's been 11, 12 years since Randy's passed, and I'm very curious to see how they're doing.
Yeah, I was thinking that the other day when I was watching the YouTube lecture that he was doing. I said, I wonder how his children are doing today. That would be, interesting to know how they're doing.
Yeah. Well, April, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, April.
And thanks for
Well, thank you
recommending the video, the actual last lecture that this whole book was written about. I'm going to check that out.
Okay.
I just want to thank you for joining us on Beyond Words, and thanks for always supporting us.
Thanks, April.
Okay. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
All right. Take care, April.
Bye.
Okay. Thank you.
Sweet.
You said something very interesting. I have to go back on that. It just gave me an idea. That was cool, the video stuff. Imagine that would be a cool gift, like for, let's say when Rio is married, all right? And well, to now, to when he's married, let's say maybe like whatever, 20 years, 30 years, his gift would be like a bunch of videos of you, maybe like each year, just the video speaking about how you loved him, what you did this year. It will be just memories,
That would be very cool. So what's cool, what I do is I have an annual book. I wish I had a copy. I probably do somewhere, but I try to create a book every year with pictures of everything we've done. So like if we went to a different city, France or Disneyland or wherever we did, I have a little page where it's pictures from that day. And then you just keep flipping for every year. And I've actually been doing that since, I want to say, around 2008, 2009. Actually, I think I have books from 2003. So it's something that I've been doing all the way up. So I can go quickly right back to that year. And we often do that. And I recommend anyone who has family to start that. And you can go back by just going in your folders and recreating it. It's not something like, dang, it's too late, I got to start in 2020. You can go back and do the same thing. And it's a great bonding time, and it's a great thing for your family to do. So I do it in pictures, but I think nowadays in our time period, with visuals and videos being so easy to do, it would be cool to do in a video way.
Yeah. Here's a cool question that maybe we can ask people.
Yeah.
What's on your to-do list? So if you want to put that in the comments so we know what's on your to-do list.
And Omar, what I'll do is I'll tell you guys what's on my to-do list.
Let's do it.
And then you could tell people. You have some stuff on your to-do list?
Probably.
All right. So we didn't prepare for this answer, but I'm just going to tell you at least 3 things that are on my to-do list. Number 1 is to speak Spanish. That's a goal of mine that I've had for a while, and I think many of the viewers know about that because I've always speak about it any chance I get. But I have to learn Spanish, and I don't just have to learn it. I have to be able to carry a great conversation. So in the next 3, 4, 5 years, I'm going to really spend a lot of time in Spanish-speaking countries. I don't know if it's just one country and I'm going to repeat going back to that place, or if I'm going to just go to different Spanish countries and stay there. And I love that about today's world with Airbnbs, and there's so many simple ways to do that. So that's something that is definitely on my to-do list. Another thing is more music. You know, I have a lot more music to go, and albums and visuals, and I want to create this cool journey for myself, my family, and my fans. So that would be the second thing. And then the third thing, you know, it's to properly launch family rules, to be honest. I'm big on being able to help and being able to give advice and have people come away from watching something or listening to something of mine and feeling better, or feeling more confident, or feeling more at ease. To me, that's one of my biggest goals in life, is to continue to do that for people. And that's something I want to do. And the family rules gives me an opportunity to do it for a family. We all have family. We all have relationships. And that's something that's very important to me as well.
So music, Spanish, and family, right?
Music, Spanish, and family.
Can music and Spanish go together?
Hey, for sure. For sure. And it will. At one point, it will.
That's cool. I see many. You can maybe check out what people have on
how about this? And Toria says, and you, Omar? You have to give us 3.
I can give you one. I'll give you one that I'm really thinking of right now. Actually, I would love to go to Egypt.
Yes.
That's one place I think I can't go now because it's hard to go there for some reasons. But there's something that attracts me to all the Egyptian stuff, you know, the pyramids. Something attracts me there, so I need to go there. I don't know why yet, but I need to go there.
I like that.
Yeah.
Let's review some. Sequoia says, get my license, travel, have my own business, get a degree in psychology and holistic healing. Love that. Complete my estate agency courses, visit 2300 Jackson Street, and travel in general. Very cool.
Nice.
Education job, meet you, T-Jizzle, and travel. Yes, we will. Travel the world, get married, and have 2 children, a boy and a girl. That's great. Oh, thank you, Sienna. She says, you give us an escape and a paradise to step into, TJ. We are forever thankful. Thank you for that. And Omizzle, thank you for helping create all of this escape and journey.
My pleasure.
Okay, I'm trying to think what else. I'm seeing some other ones, but we'll go there. My friendships, bracelets, go on another cruise, also learn Spanish and go to my culture shows is on my to-do list. A lot of great things that you guys should do. And here's the thing, keep going, keep going after your dreams and what you want to do. Don't let a setback. And that, to me, that's what a lot of not only this video, but a lot of what for me, what I want Beyond Words to be, especially on these readings, is to be an inspirational thing. Is to be empowering. Life is not a simple thing. It's not just a clear cut path to whatever you want. Things don't just happen with a snap. And that's one thing I loved about when we reviewed The Alchemist. We talked about the journey and embracing the journey, and sometimes the success is the journey. And in this book, I think the main message is, failure. You have to embrace. You have to be okay with it. You have to accept it, and you have to realize that's what's going to make you stronger. And then again, when it's time to say goodbye, to stay upbeat, to stay grateful, and to be appreciative of what you have in life. Let's attack another quote, if that's okay with you, Omar.
Yes, let's do it.
Is this book? Let's see real quick. When it comes to men who are romantically interested in you, it's really simple. Just ignore everything they say and only pay attention to what they do. This is a quote you highlighted, right?
Yeah, I liked it. Very simple. Like, just, people talk a lot. Just look at what they do for you, what they're doing. The action speaks more than the words. I liked it because of that.
Yeah.
And it's put like in the context about, romantically stuff. So I like the fact that he highlighted that in his book.
Yes. I remember this, and I think it's important. I think our society is so visually driven, with likes and all that stuff, and all the changing of filters and all that stuff. But we have, which is cool and fun and always exciting to do. I do it myself often, but we can't. Even though we do it, we cannot forget the importance of what's internal. We have to fall in love with the person for what they do and who they are. So just be careful with that, of course. Again, I'm going to go back to this. Each of us must decide, am I fun-loving Tigger or am I sad-eye Eeyore? Pick a camp. This is all from Winnie the Pooh, I believe, right, Omar?
I don't remember.
Okay. I think this is Winnie the Pooh. I'm not sure. I don't really remember. But what I love, again, it's talking about here he is with the terminal cancer. He decided to be a fun-loving Tigger. Even though he could have been sad and every indication should have pointed to him being sad, he wanted to be happy, fun, and loving on his last days. What else do we have, Omar? That's a question we did. No, we haven't asked this question, so let's ask this now. This is for everyone out there. What wisdom would you try to impart to the world if you knew it was your last chance? So I'm curious to know that question. Feel free to answer that. Omar, do you have that? What you would say for that?
That is a hard one. That is a hard one. I don't think I'm experienced enough to give wisdom to the world.
You got some experience.
Yeah, but maybe that's more a question for you, I think.
Okay, I'll answer it first.
Yeah.
But I think you can answer this. What I would say, and I think this is important, and it's something that I've kind of learned in the last couple of years of my life, as and thank goodness for the DDJF channel, because we had we get a lot of great minds to come on our show, on the Power of Love show, and they are able to give me a lot of great information. And one time we had a guest by the name of Lynn B, and I asked her, if you could tell me one thing or tell your younger self one thing, what would you give? I believe it was a question. If not, it was a statement she made towards the end of the show where she gets to say whatever she wants. Either way, what she said was very profound. She basically said, practice gratitude. And I remember hearing that throughout my life. But for me, the reasoning behind it wasn't clear cut to me. It was more like, okay, I just got to be thankful that I have things. I get it. I am thankful. I'm appreciative. And, what's next? Like, what am I going to do next? Now I'm realizing all the benefits. It's not just about being thankful and being appreciative of your position, but it changes your perspective and it encourages you to be a happier person in life. It helps you become happier. It helps you give back to people. And I think it really helps you become more of a successful person in life when you are grateful. So that would be probably the main, really one of the main things I'd push on, because it's really changed my life for the better, is that level of gratitude. No matter what you go through in life, if you have a serious loss or impact that's negative, if you practice gratitude, it helps you deal with that. It helps you see that, even in my situation, I lost my mother at 16. I was able to kind of flip that and say, at least I had my mother till I was 16, and was able to receive her messages and was able to have some great memories with her. So I think it's super important to practice gratitude. And I don't think we as cultures or society do a good enough job explaining that to people. We're good about explaining the importance of manners or pursuing your dreams in a bit, but when it comes to gratitude, I always feel like that message gets lost. So that's and even in the book, he talks about gratitude. And again, I missed that the first time. I caught it this time. But even in his situation, he's practicing gratitude, which I think helps him get to this happy, fun-loving Tigger place.
Yeah.
You have anything, Omar? I feel like you do.
I do not. I'm not on this one. I'm sorry. I do not.
You don't have
Maybe
to.
later. I don't know.
And you know what? I've been seeing a couple of being happy and forgive everyone and love everyone. And I think that's the Chandra said that, and who else has said that? This Facebook user, where was it? The comments are moving so quickly. To be happy and forgive everyone and love everyone. So obviously that's another big one, to be happy and forgiving. Here's a question. How do you all deal with honesty not told and having to wonder about certain things so you're not blindsided? I don't know. I don't know exactly how to answer this, Lanell. I think I try to not let things hurt me. I try to remember things, but I don't try to let negative things really damage who I am internally. I don't try to give it that power. I'm very big on positive energy and the importance of it. So if there's any type of negative energy that's floating out there, I try to just either stay away from it, or if it's going to enter my sphere, I don't give it much power. Now I will say this. Now, if there's negative energy towards my loved one, it hits me harder. I think I've mentioned that. It bothers me more. I just think I've gotten to a place where I'm very comfortable of, I don't mind. Maybe it's because I've went through a lot of loss. It doesn't affect me. Maybe because I have kids and I feel they're and my family are what matters. And as long as they're good, I'm good. I don't care too much. And it kind of sounds mean, but I don't give it the time of day. So if someone was being dishonest to you, I strongly advise you to try to just get through it, get past it. It's like bullying. If you're being bullied, it's really their issue, not yours. You got to learn to deal with it and get through it and pray for that person who's doing the bullying. That's how I honestly feel when I'm lied to or cheated or people, I'm blindsided. I just move on, learn from it, use it as experience, and keep it moving. Yeah, turn it around and be positive. Okay, Omar, is there anything else? So, otherwise, we can close this.
You said it all, TJ.
You said it all, right?
You said it all.
Okay, the last thing I do want to say, I'm looking at this quote, and we talked about being grateful. We talked about failure. But for any parents out there, again, I think the most important thing, or one of the more important thing, is to encourage your family, encourage your kids to pursue their dream. And from the alchemist to the last lecture, this has been a theme, and I like the theme because I think it's such an important theme that we have to do what we want to do in our heart, what we love. So I wanted to close this with this because I think a lot of us, our parents are going to be parents, or at least nephews or uncles and aunts, and we can inspire kids, or we may just be teachers. Either way, Give yourself and give them permission to dream. Fuel your kids' dreams too. Once in a while, that might even mean letting them stay up past their bedtimes. And again, for any parent who may be very, very regimented and very structured, it's okay every now and then to let it go. You know, we never know when our last day is, and I remember it perfectly. There was a time just a couple days ago where Rio and the kids were having the time of their life, and it was way past their bedtime. But you know, and friends were like, I think they should be getting to bed soon, and I was lobbying for the kids to stay up, and it wasn't like she was giving me resistance. She wanted them happy too. But those memories, those experiences, to me, they supersede any type of structure thing. I really believe that. We don't know how long we're going to be here, so we have to have happiness and we have to enjoy our moments. So for any parents out there, let your kids have fun, let them dream, help them make accomplish their dreams. And that was my last message. Omizel, anything for you, or are we closing?
Yeah. Well, I have one question for you.
Yeah.
What are your kids' dreams? Do they have some yet?
I asked them.
I know they're very young, but
yeah, I asked them, but they don't know. They really don't know, and they're young, you know, and you know, some of them know, but some of them are like, some of the older kids they keep changing, you know, and that's okay. That's fine, you know. That's part of it. That's part of the journey. And then the younger ones, they don't really know yet. You know, I've heard everything from cook to teach to tennis to everything. You know, art, animation. So whatever it is, I just want them happy. And to me, that's the whole theme of this whole book. Be happy. We never know when it's our last time or our last time on this earth. Be happy. We're good, Omar. We're gonna close it.
Yes. By the way, we have last night video, right? The lyrics video.
I forgot about that.
Come on, TJ. I have to remind you of this.
For everyone, we're gonna go ahead and go onto YouTube on my YouTube channel, and we're gonna premiere the last night lyric video.
That's in what, 10 minutes?
Yes, in 10 minutes.
All
so
right,
we're gonna go in there now. But for everyone else, we love you all. Stay strong, stay positive. Don't let a failure beat you down. Be thankful and live every day like it's your last. All right, adios and much love.
Bye.